早上好，为这一天感谢上帝。我希望你昨晚睡得很好，我很好。谢谢你的支持，我爱你们。A few things I would like to discuss with my viewers this morning. There is a difference between a mathematical equation and a mathematical concept. The difference is an equation is like the quadratic formula. It's just a formula, that's an equation, you put the numbers in, you know your orders of operations, you get an answer that will satisfy the equation. But a financial concept is different, because a financial concept is not about the fine details of the numbers like the formula is. A financial concept is more like we could do this and we could do this and we could do this, and altogether we'll have a plan of attack, and that is a financial concept more so than an individual formula or equation. Now, in forming a financial concept, you have to know a lot of formulas, and formulas go into it. But the formula is the smaller of the two, because you need a couple equations to make up a formula for a numerical plan. That's not my rule. And numerical law is not up to us. We figured it out. Ganshi Sangdi. It can help us organize the world. Additionally, numbers were created by humans. A rabbit doesn't know what a 1, a 2, or a 3 is. It can probably look and see that there's 1 berry, 2 berry, 3 berries, and know that 3 berries is more worth their time just because they're an intelligent living animal. But they're not thinking 1, 2, 3. That is a human concept in both language and mentality. Additionally, if you hear birds singing in a tree and there's a bunch of different sounds coming, that's not the same bird making the sounds of all those other birds. Each bird makes the sound that bird is allowed to make. It does not have a choice in that. It does not even consider eating food that it wouldn't eat. It doesn't speak different languages of different birds. It's just the bird that it is very specifically. To us, when we hear the birds singing in the tree, it's so beautiful. Listen to that music. Those birds have no idea what music is. Humans do. So to us, it sounds beautiful like music. Those birds are just talking. They're just communicating. They're not singing, per se. They're just making the noise that they can make, but they can't make all the different noises like we can. They can make a variety of noises, but not in the same way. And a hummingbird is not going to sound like a crow, and a blue jay is not going to sound like a hummingbird. It's just understood. However, humans have developed languages, thousands of them, and we are not limited at all. In our languages, a lot of it is individual to how many you can speak, but by no stretch of the imagination are humans restricted to one language like all these other animals. A lot of the languages we have today have evolved over time since they've been around for so long. Some of them have changed, some of them have disappeared, and still to this day, some of the languages are sort of being eaten up, per se, by other more modern Swift languages. As modern life increases in tempo, the languages are as well. For example, Latinas is a very slow-speaking language, sexy as fuck, but it's not really as quick, but most of the Latin people habla español, There's no problem with tempo when it comes to Espanol. So in that, the Spanish people are speaking Spanish, the Latin people are speaking Spanish, the Greek people are speaking Spanish, and it goes from there. They still have their mother tongues, but they don't always lean on English. Some of them lean on Spanish. However, English and Spanish are so connected. Most people that are vibing with Spanish can vibe with English and vice versa, even if they have a different mother tongue, because those languages are extremely close, extremely fast, extremely modern. However, the tempo of life has increased quite a bit. We could actually benefit from slowing down even a little bit. And that is one good thing that learning a lot of these ancient languages have done for me, is it slowed down my mind enough to speak them. And when I went back to English, I really noticed the difference. I can't curse and swear and do all the things that I do in English in these other languages, and I don't give a fuck about curses, but we do curse too much. On top of that, I can't do that in these other languages, so when I come back to English, well, I'm just more sensitive about it because I actually like speaking those languages and I respect those languages, so when I come back to English, I consider the perspective. And a lot of that goes back to my ability to take things for what they are. Like I've mentioned before, that goes back to my food studies. It bleeds into everything. Even my studies on ancient spiritualities and the origins of languages and such, all of that was taken for what it was. I need to elaborate on that for a moment. For example, I fully understand that when they were crafting the Mandarin language, people didn't talk like we talk now. And if you can give those people credit or not, people barely talked. They were setting up communication. It's not like even if you made a language now. If you made a language modernly, well, you have a lot of options. When Mandarin was created, people barely talked. They were trying to start communication. And Mandarin is still here. Yin Wei Pu Tong Hua Han Bong. Those people were still trying to figure it out at a time when they were less civilized, and they knew they needed some order and some organization. They needed to communicate. The same goes for Greek, and the same goes for Latin, of course. All these ancient languages, Tamil in India. Those people were starting communication. And now, in 2022, we have thousands of active languages. We have a world understanding, which is English. That didn't just happen overnight. They've been studying English to make it a world language since it was created. And now we have it. We have a world language. And another great thing about English is, as quick as it is, all the abbreviations and stuff, the stop signs and all these signs that are around everywhere, right? You forget a language from not using it, not seeing it. You're not going to forget English. It's everywhere. And these signs and everything, they're all very universal understandings when you see them. Text language is useful and quick. I do think we should be careful about how much we abuse the English language. It is an important language. So it's flexible, and I'm not saying don't curse and all that stuff. I know people are going to think I'm a fucking pussy for saying that. I don't give a fuck about fuck. I don't say it as much because I'm trying to respect you. And I don't know if you can respect that. But you should probably just keep that in mind. I'd like to move on from that, though. Going back to the conversation about taking it as it is in the ancient studies, I would like to say that modernly, spirituality is not the same thing as it was years ago, and it shouldn't be, because everything has to evolve with us. A lot of the concepts that people believed back then, for us modernly, are not even entertained in our mind. As a quick example, in Greek mythology, they thought there was someone sitting up on the cloud throwing the lightning bolts down at them. And I'm fairly confident that everybody understands the science about that now. That's a small example, but it's a strong example because people actually believe that because they didn't really know. And it's okay. We can't get mad at people for trying to figure it out over time. But we know that now and we figured it out. So it's all good. Those humans that were doing that stuff then, they were trying to figure out human spirituality. They knew they had it, and they didn't understand it, but they were trying to figure it out with each other, right? A lot of organized religion came from that because there was groups of people that felt the same concepts. so they would gather and talk about those concepts and really feel them. I feel like a lot of them were connecting in that way because they were acknowledging God in their own way that resonated with others. And it didn't matter as much that it was resonating with others because it was getting them as individuals to do that practice. Because it's important that that practice is taken on. Not the religious practices, but just the acknowledgement of the spirituality in general. It's not a really time-consuming thing. I would like to make a suggestion to you. I don't judge you for thinking that's weird. Don't talk to God. It's up to you. It's your life. But I would like to make a suggestion to you. If talking to God is not something you do, well, even if it is, if there's an issue that you have and you feel like it's kind of private in that you don't really want to talk to anybody about it, but you know you need to talk about it, when you're alone, hash it out with God and just talk about it out loud. It doesn't matter. Just get it out. Just talk about it to God and some clarity will come to you in reference to that. Maybe you have to do it more than once. I don't know what the issue is. That's just a suggestion. Again, back to what I was saying about the spirituality. Those humans were still very real humans having very real experiences. And even though a lot of the concepts are not entertained today, they were still real people trying to figure shit out. I would like you to correlate it to when a child is born into the world through a woman's body. For the first 5, 6, 7, 8 years of their life, mostly the first 5, they're still more connected to the other. And then the longer they're here, they start focusing more and more on here, and then they're really here. And then through your middle-aged years, right? It's really easy to lose your spirituality, and it's really easy to get caught up in the physical world and forget that the other even exists. But by the design of life, if you can hold your faith through those years, you benefit from that later in life when you're getting ready to go back to the other. It relieves a lot of your worries and strains, right? And good things have happened along the way to maintain your faith. So when you get there, you don't question it. And then that helps you on your journey. Well, the humans that were creating the spirituality back then, well, they were still real humans. And they were still having real experiences, real spiritual experiences, closer to the creation of humanity than we are right now. And right now in civilization, we are very civilized. However, nowadays, we're very plastic. We're not even eating real food. We don't really understand the food properly because we're eating very compulsively on the go, too busy to do anything and stop and take care of our own health. And so that is a serious problem. There is nothing that says that spirituality events that happened back then cannot happen modernly. Because another thing to keep in mind is our lives are very short. Time to the earth and to, it's all different because I understand that because of my understanding of numbers. I have a very different understanding of numbers in general. I don't care about numbers. I care about humans. I don't want your money. I want an opportunity to help the children be healthier because of the studies that I've done in my life. And that's not a joke to me. And I understand that there's some people that think I'm attacking them, and I'm not. If you think that I'm trying to attack you, I want to ask you something. Do you have a fucking child in your life that you care about? You want them to be healthier than they are right now? That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to take your money. I'm not trying to take your position. I'm trying to help you. And you think I'm attacking you. And if somebody's sitting on a camera telling you how much they love you every day and giving you nothing but loving advice, and you still want to hurt them, I strongly suggest you discover internal work and think about how you're living your life. Because nobody should want to hurt me. Because all I'm doing is saying I love you. 感谢上帝爱我，我必须去谢谢你的时间，我爱你们。今天吃得好，保持乐观，度过美好的一天。Because it's important to your well-being. 对所有人的和平与爱。再次感谢上帝。再见。